Welcome to the first ever Sports Injury Central halftime show. Tune into this show every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time for the early games and 2:30 p.m. for the later games. We'll break down the day's injuries and recommend some in-game or halftime bets that go hand in hand with those injuries. My name is Craig Dato. Let me introduce you to our crew. You know him as the Pro Football Doc. He spent 17 years as the San Diego Chargers head team physician, Dr. David Chao. He's joined by a guy all serious bettors know, the two-time Westgate Super Contest winner, Steve Fezzik, in live from Las Vegas. And finally, the walking, talking NFL encyclopedia, our own Taylor Bicht. So go to Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com to see all the player insights, real-time news, team injury data, and most importantly, picks that have hit at a documented 56.5% over the last 6 years. More on that later. Obviously, we only have one game to cover tonight, but let's get into it. Doc, the big story happened before the first offensive snap even ever happened. Jalen Carter, maybe the best defensive player on the Eagles. Unsportsmanlike conduct. He's kicked out for spitting at Dak Prescott. Tell us what you think.
Well, first of all, it was unsportsmanlike conduct already for being across the line of scrimmage of the ball in the other team's huddle. What got him kicked out is the spitting or expectorant thing. And, you know, at Sports Injury Central, we do treat unexpected absences like an injury. Like pregame here, we said Philly's going to be able to move the ball because of Micah Parsons' late departure. Not to mention which Demarion Overshawn's still out, and Trayvon Diggs is limited snaps so far and far from 100%, and the Eagles have. What we didn't expect is the number one run stopper, the key to linchpin to the Eagles, would be kicked out and essentially, quote, injured, at least for today, on the first play. And that's dominoed a lot. Like Dallas had problems running the ball last year, and now all of a sudden they can. And so that kind of has changed the tenor of the game from what it is. And 41 points in the first half, that's quite the explosion. We expected it out of the Eagles. We did not expect it out of the Cowboys until the missing Jalen Carter.
All right, let's debate this a little bit with Steve Fezzik. The defensive tackle, as I said, arguably the best player on the Eagles defense, is out. A lot of points are scored in the first half. Steve, what are we looking at for the second half? Is there an actionable play here?
I didn't hear Steve there. Good thing it's a first go. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, he's not muted or something.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So the pros would normally bet the first half was 24, and it was bet to the under. The game total was 48, and you after a high scoring first half, oftentimes you're looking to play a second half under. But I don't want to play the second half under. I mean, the eye test on this game is no one can stop the offenses. There were no punts. And there was, frankly, only one play where there was really a chance for the defense to stop the offense. And I want to ask you guys, that last drive, Dallas starts at the 10. There's 40 seconds left. That should be a stop. We should be going to halftime. And the fact that Dallas just effortlessly could matriculate down, I know they got a penalty to help them. I mean, do we really think it's going to be any different in the second half? I mean, over under, how many punts do we think we're going to see in the second half, too?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Like, we expected the Eagles to be able to move the ball, but now we have both teams being able to move the ball. And obviously the Eagles get the ball first. And, what's interesting here, if the Eagles get the ball and if they do score, and this might play into a lot of bettors here, they're going to go for two, or they should. Why? Not to be up 8, being up 9 becomes 2 scores, and that becomes very significant to a lot of players.
I want to mention something. Before we came into the game, we were worried about the Cowboys' offensive line. Remember, with Tyler Guyton, his knee injury, and Tyler Smith with his ankle. Both have been playing pretty well, on top of Landon Dickerson for Philly playing well, better than expected as well. Would you say, Doc?
Yeah, but coming into the game, there were some question marks there, but the Dallas O-line has looked good. Now, is that because of the Eagles run defense, no Jalen Carter, or they're just doing well? So far, they're doing quite well. I do see the Cowboys sorely missing middle line, the Overshawn.
Yes.
I mean, their pursuit across the middle, that's what opens everything up for the Eagles. And you know what that means is look at all the yards Jalen Hurts has gotten once he escapes the pocket.
6 for 48 in rushing. Yeah.
That's huge right there. That's Overshawn being missed by the Cowboys.
Okay, so I'm hearing
Doc,
O-lines are playing. We're missing Jalen Carter. We're missing Micah Parsons, obviously. Steve, what could we do with this for the second half? What, is any plays out there?
I keep thinking that the scoring is going to continue. So I want no part of the under. Certainly, I mean, the Eagles get the ball first. It certainly feels like Doc's already talking about whether the Eagles are going to go for 2 after they score. So that means they're either going to be up 7 or 9. I think they're going to kick the extra point. I think Sirianni is really good with these analytics, and turns out it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And since they're favored by 8 in this game, I don't think he wants to do anything like that would allow Dallas to steal the game. I think he'd be perfectly happy going up 8. And if it goes overtime, they probably win in overtime. So I think he's going to kick. But I think where the value might be in end of the third quarter, early fourth quarter, after the Eagles score and they go up 8, I think it's somewhere in that ballpark. I think there'd be value. I think Dallas is going to be able to move in the second half the same as they did in the first half.
Taylor, what do we got for a second?
I will say one prop I would look at. I think Fezzik, we talked about in the right before half, was Saquon Barkley. If there was going to be 17-17 going in the half, we were not really looking at that, right? But if now they're up 4 points, do you see Barkley maybe running out the third and fourth quarter and maybe going over on the prop?
Yeah, I would only look towards Barkley over, because like load management, like he was supposed to gain 99 yards. Obviously he's underperforming, but a big part of that 99 was that the Eagles could get up 14 and maybe, the other backs get some carries. Well, it's a dogfight now. So I think they're going to have to use Barkley.
Bottom line is there's no reason to get desperate here. It's just one game. When we're talking on Sundays, when there's 8-10 games, there's going to be a lot of actionable stuff, and where there's advantages, there's no reason to panic here and do something that is necessary. But I do want to cover a little bit the big breaking news, CMC, and ask Steve Fezzik what that means maybe for Seattle and San Francisco and the line. Limited practice today with a calf. So let's break that down for a second. First of all, last year he started with a calf, but what put him out for the season was the Achilles tendonitis, which is technically a little bit different than the calf.
The PCL put him out. It was the Achilles tendonitis halfway through the season he was out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Achilles tendonitis is what prolonged the recovery in the beginning of the season. Why? Because you didn't want to rupture a la Tyrese Halliburton kind of situation. A calf is not great short term. We've panned Achane for being able to play. He's been limited practice. This certainly puts CMC's play for week 1 in question. It doesn't necessarily knock him out for the season. We don't have any video. It's still early season. It didn't happen in game. We need to see what happens again. But certainly everyone's antennas are up here with CMC again with the calf. But let's distinguish calf from Achilles. What do you think's happening to the lines there here, Steve, for the game and or win totals for San Francisco for the year?
So no impact on the win total as of yet, but I think the markets are just asleep. The game drops from 2.5 down to 2. San Francisco is still favored. I bet San Francisco during the summer, Doc, and I laid 1.5, and I don't like my bet at all anymore. So think about this. During the summer, this line was 1.5, and now Ayuk obviously is going to miss the first 4 games. C-Mac's injured. You've got all kinds of other injuries for the offense for the Niners. You're going into Seattle. I'm not even sure the Niners should be favored anymore. I think this movement continues. Emergency betting alert. If you're going to bet this game, you bet Seattle now, and you bet the Niners under 10.5 wins.
Well, I will say this. If you go to our website, sicscore.com, this is the biggest injury differential of the week. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you can probably guess which team is healthier. And it may very well be one of our picks this week.
That's before the CMC news too, as well, right? Yeah,
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
So San Francisco last season was among the most injured teams, and this year they're starting off they haven't turned it around this year yet. So we'll see what happens.
One other thing I want to mention before we go regarding sick picks, for those people that buy an annual package from us, which is $500, we are guaranteeing our success. This is something that's unheard of. But if you buy our package, we guarantee we will give you more winners than losers. And if we cannot deliver on that, we will refund every single dollar that you give us. It's kind of unheard of in this business, but we feel strongly about it since we've been able to hit 56% for the last 6 years. So go to sicscore.com and take advantage of it. Doc, any parting words?
No, I think this is going to be fun. And I promise you, 10 minutes will not be enough time on Sundays. Today with one game, it's fun to get more in depth. It's going to be rapid fire. And with Steve here, I really love, look, we're not handicappers. We're just trying to give injury advantages and our injury algorithm. And it's great to have Steve here. This should be fun.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. And we'll see you for the early games on Sunday.